God Cassandra's here, or I would have shared my entire desktop when we started this meeting.
Yeah, and I was just going to
And it
let.
was like, it was not a good week for it. It's like my driver's license, credit cards.
Oops, I'm not full screen here.
We're a mess tonight.
I know. Hey, all right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Drawing Hive. If you're here to draw, you're in the right place. Just a reminder, Drawing Hive is brought to you by Visual Arts Passage. And just to tell you a little bit, especially right now, because we're enrolling at Visual Arts Passage, we've got a couple more weeks. But Visual Arts Passage offers mentorship courses and resources that assist illustrators, character designers, and painters with their career development. We are in the act of enrolling now. If you are interested, please take a stab at it. I think you'll be very pleased. I'm very proud of our outcomes, what comes out of our program. It's always fun I love listening to people talk about when I share work and I share how we deliver everything. I love their reaction because we have some very good and some very serious students and some great instructors. One of them is in the room with me tonight. Cassandra,
Whoop, whoop.
you like teaching there?
I love it. It gives me just as much inspiration.
Yeah,
And if you don't trust us, Imagine FX 5 years in a row has named us one of the best online art schools.
that's good.
And they're not in the US. So that's a global deal right there. So
Very cool. Well, tonight we're drawing, which was kind of fun. I chose this because I've been watching it with my wife, The Regime. And I know Cassandra was asking me questions about it. And as I say, I've been watching it, but how I consume content on television is I'm very focused for a short period of time, then I fall asleep, no matter what it is. Because I never watch until late in the evening. So don't take my word for anything, but I enjoy it. And speaking of enjoying it, Raymond, hello.
Hey gang, how are you?
Hey, Ray.
I thought you would be worn out from like 2 nights in a row.
I know.
Yeah, I'm energized here.
There you go.
I'm ready to go.
Very cool. Well,
This
tonight.
this is why I was prepping for Thursday. So for tonight,
just you mean
That's what Live Brush was for.
yeah.
everything else is a warm up.
Well, thanks for saying that. I hope you had a good event last night. And just I'm going to throw Ray a plug on all that. If anybody's interested, on Wednesday night, Ray does a live painting night with Tyler Jacobson, who's really one of the best in the industry. And those two together just deliver a fun night of painting where you can ask questions. It's a cool thing.
this is just a note for Joe Thompson. Cut that all out. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll just edit this one out.
yeah. And cut.
No, I've watched it a few times. It's quite interesting.
Mhm.
All right. So our reference tonight, we have four. I selected four references. I think they're great shots. I'm a big fan of Kate Winslet, so it makes it real easy.
I love her.
Yeah, and she's very entertaining in the show. Again, we do 3 poses, 2 20-minute poses, and a 40-minute pose. You can draw all 4 of these references, or you can just pick one. Do whatever you want. But Timmy's going to let you know when the timer's up, and you go on to the next one. You know what? I remember how strict I was about that for a long period of time, and trying to get every pose in. And when you do that every week, it truthfully, it did start to wear on me. And so I like to wander. Sometimes I do a couple. Sometimes I just focus on one. It depends what kind of materials I'm using. But I think we're ready to go. Timmy's going to tell you where to post things.
Yeah, please share your work with us throughout the night. If you don't have the photo reference, I'm going to drop a link to it in the chat just in a second here. And then also, if you want to be part of the conversation, please join us on Discord. It's a really fun community. People share their art there all week. I love it. So please join. That's 2 links I owe all of you that you'll have in just a second. And then people on Discord, please help us come up with a hashtag. Try not to do what I did last week. Make sure it's definitely available. I know. Don't whatever. Don't do as I do. Do as I say, or whatever that is. Um, yeah. Anyways, this will be a fun one. So we got Ray here, which is always a treat. Did I not
You
say
know
that
what?
believably?
You didn't have as much scorn in your voice as you usually do when you say my name, so I'll take it.
All right. All right. Yeah, no, somebody come up with a good, the tag's got to be a good hashtag, unclaimed, easy to spell, and short and on theme.
As I mentioned earlier, that Cassandra teaches in our program with Visual Arts Passage, and she teaches in our Fine Arts program, and so does Ray in the same program. And it's made it number one, unbelievably good for the students, but unbelievably fun for me because I get to teach with 2 people I really, really like that are just fabulous artists. So
I'm glad you like us. It'd be a really lot of work for you if you didn't like to be around us.
yeah, that would
Yeah.
be an issue.
I'm glad you said you liked working with me, John, because Timmy definitely doesn't.
Yeah. I have you know what's funny, Ray? I uh I was going through I was doing some like tagging on our website, and so I was going through all these old blog posts, and this is really fun. I saw the original the first Christmas episode of Drawing Hive that we ever did back in uh 2020 to 2021, right? And do you remember you guys came on and we made it a live brush Drawing Hive episode? Do you remember that?
Yeah, with the the dartboard.
Yeah, and so that's what I was thinking about because I was like, oh, it's funny, like that was the thumbnail for it was your guys' photo on a dartboard. Uh,
Yeah.
and 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 this is what's funny is you guys are still on that dartboard in my garage. I just never, yeah, yeah, it just
Yeah.
sits there. Everybody that comes over goes, "Who are those guys?" And I'm like, "They're 2 people
Eh,
that I know through the internet."
it was a battle of the the live art podcasts, and we would like I compare us to like the internet browser wars. We were like the Netscape navigator
Oh, that would
of
make us like that would make us like that would make us like Duck Duck Go.
I was gonna say Duck Duck Go. Yeah, that would be my guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. it's, it's like we look cool, but nobody remembers us. Like,
Nah,
oh yeah.
you guys, you guys are like the Beatles on Twitch,
Yeah,
right?
Beetle, right.
Right?
So good we're on YouTube only now.
Oh,
Uh,
you abandoned your Twitch cohorts.
yeah, that was years ago.
Really?
Yep.
Man,
Tyler
everybody's
said, I'll
telling
see you
me that.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, Twitch, is Twitch pretty much still pretty exclusive to gamers, or did it? Can you still
Uh
go to Twitch often?
yeah, not as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I find most people I watch a lot of streaming on YouTube actually.
Um,
And there's a lot more artists I always find like that I enjoy watching. Sorry, Cassandra.
oh no, I think the time to draw screen is still just up.
Oh, John, whoops. I'm sorry, everybody.
Sorry.
God, Cassandra's here tonight. Man,
Well, we want to let everybody know it's time to
I
go.
would have. I came within half a second of clicking go live to just destroying my identity. Like, like everything I've collected for my Italian citizenship is just out. My
But I like your
desktop,
desktop
John,
painting. I like the picture you chose. That was a good
that's how I can tell the difference between my work computer and my personal computer. That's it's all like, yeah, like Renaissance paintings. Yeah. One went for a while. I'm glad it wasn't like John the Baptist getting beheaded. That would have been a bad look for John.
Yeah. Yeah. I just like, oh man.
Uh,
I loved it. I had everything from my
John would be like,
Italian
John
citizen.
would be like, why'd you choose that painting to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your answer was, "What I'm trying to get my Italian citizenship."
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it would
I
be
got a quiz.
helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
All
Ray,
right.
so
when
I have not watched Regime.
I haven't either.
Okay. I was gonna say if like I had to gauge because I was like if Cassandra didn't watch it, then I know I'm not far behind. Like I'm okay.
No,
Cassandra's
John.
going to watch it though. I
I
think
do. I do want to watch it. I love Kate Winslet, and the cast looks fantastic, just in general. I just
Yeah.
didn't understand what it was about. I felt like it wasn't really advertised well.
I agree, Cassandra. It was a kind of pitched to me as if it was this like dystopian look at like a future European country, and
Yeah, it just
now I've learned
Yeah.
it's much more satirical.
yeah. I'm fine with
Oh,
satirical.
really?
yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah, I
I
did.
think
Right?
it's,
What?
Did you get that from it?
It's funny?
yeah,
No,
Yeah.
I thought it was like a dystopian science fiction thing, like
Yeah, I didn't want
the man in the
dystopian
high
science
castle,
fiction.
or
Yeah.
No.
yeah,
I on the topic of, not to go too off the rails, but A24 has a new movie coming out. I think at the end of the summer, Civil War. You heard about this? It looks
yeah,
so good. It looks really scary. And very intense. It'll be interesting. And it also feels like as far as A24 goes, it's kind of like, ooh, I want to see what A24 does now that they've like fully established themselves as like a powerhouse, you know,
right,
for like they've become like a powerhouse for like movies that make you think.
right, yeah, yeah, like movies that wouldn't they make movies that you wouldn't think would necessarily be made, you know,
Yeah. Especially at the
you know,
scale made, you know.
right at the scale, right at the
Mhm.
scale, yeah, because
Yeah.
it's pretty high production value. Now I'm not embarrassed to say that I was like I saw the advertisement. I'm like, why is the Avengers graphic design in green? I've never seen this version. And I thought it was a superhero movie.
you you nerd.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, maybe the next scene will have superheroes.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's not. A24 is not going to touch that.
No, and if they did, it would be like really weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. A24 I approach with caution when I watch A20. I can't stomach a lot of it, you know.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to remember the last A24 film I saw. Was Everything All at Once, Everywhere?
Oh,
Was
I
that
love that
A24?
one. Yeah, and that one was
Yeah,
totally weird, and I
yeah.
love it.
I
I
love
love
that one
it for
too.
it.
Yeah,
a very good movie, a very good show.
John,
But that to me feels as light as it gets.
right.
Yeah. I mean, what's the like Norwegian Midsommar that
That's what it was. Yeah, I was like trying to remember the one that kind of freaked me out. And I was like, yeah,
oh yeah, Alice, my childhood
yeah,
friend Alice was like, you gotta check it out. It's so good. I'll watch it again. And I started it and I was like, I can't. This is nope.
Which
This
movie?
is Midsommar
Oh, yeah, no, I can't do that one.
or Midsummer. I think it's Midsommar. But yeah, I was like, don't ever recommend that movie to anybody. I mean, it's fine that it's a good movie. I'm not saying it's not a good movie, but it's not a movie you should just
Go into
reckless.
casually.
You should just like it's not a movie you should go to your job and tell people like, hey, check this
It's
movie.
not a like movie to put on while you clean your room kind of thing.
No. No. Um, it's a it's a it's a high level movie though. It's good. It's just not good for me.
I don't think it'd be good for me.
I'm not built for it. Yeah.
Wait, I have a question for everybody. What did you like the most about Everything All at Once?
I like that it just felt like a really disruptive storytelling where you're just like it felt new. Just felt like a interesting,
It was different.
felt so
Yeah.
different, but like a really cohesive style.
Yep.
You know? I don't know.
It felt
How about you?
wonderfully non-linear in the same way like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yes.
Starring Kate Winslet and Jim Carrey was, like that type of like constantly engaged and playing around with the audience.
Yeah.
And the casting. Like I've loved the cast.
Yeah. Was it with James is it Woo or the father? I forgot his name.
Oh, con oh oh yeah, the father. And then I was thinking of the husband.
Yeah. Oh my God. Why am I blanking on?
My brain is done.
I,
The
I
kids are on spring break.
yeah.
I've been nonstop activities.
Oh no.
And in our defense, when we talk about movies at this level, it's arts and culture, people. John does have an educational
Thank
segment.
you, Kei Hui Kwan.
Yeah, we could go ahead and do that now.
Oh, there's no rush, John.
I'm
Anything
I'm
like
painting in
that.
something flat in the background, so give me like a minute because I'm
Yeah, I need a
Okay.
minute. So that's great.
Ooh, I can't
Today's
even.
theme is A24 movies that John likes.
one.
A24 movies that John likes.
Yeah.
John
Oh,
be
I
like,
changed up
John,
my cardboard today, guys.
oh, nice. What's going on
What
here?
is
It's LaCroix
yeah.
today.
Oh, wait. Can I can I take a that's amazing. Can I get a
Hashtag
full
sponsored
sip for
stream,
everybody?
Yeah,
baby?
please sponsor me. I love the stuff.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So I can't believe it. We hit the big time.
Yeah, I went fancy.
Wow, sparkling
Is it-
water.
Is it, did you consume the product?
Yes, I did. I'm having pamplemousse as we speak. So
Oh, you went all out
Oh.
because you have pamplemousse, but you're working with key lime.
well, I finished line. So like I
Okay,
used
yeah.
it.
Wow. So you guys are a LaCroix
Wow.
house. You're a LaCroix house.
Yeah. Well, we like the bubble. We're Congas nonetheless.
I recently watched a video of puppy dogs drinking LaCroix. like somebody poured like a can of LaCroix in their water bowl. And I don't know if this is like a thing you shouldn't do with dogs. I'm gonna go ahead and assume probably don't do this with dogs, but
I
them
even thought to do it.
them tasting water like it's spicy and then being so confused and then going back to taste more is the funniest thing.
Oh, that's like giving my kids sparkling water. Like
Yeah.
it just blows their mind.
Yeah.
I I thought that was going to be the greatest non sequitur ever about dogs drinking. Like I was like, what? It's like Timmy is on a roll.
Yeah.
He's
That's the
everything
only
all
thing
at once on it.
that's the only everything everywhere all at once, Timmy.
You just bring hot
No,
dog fingers into it. Like that would really
yeah.
clinch it.
Yeah, no, my dogs exclusively drink. They exclusively drink Topo Chico and Fiji water. If the Topo Chico is not available, they will settle for a still Fiji, but that's it. Yeah. You know what's funny? We did an art news episode and I remember there was I'm trying to remember what the story was, but the woman gave her dog Fiji water. Do you remember that? It was the best in show episode. That's what it is.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
art news.
Oh,
There was a dog at the big, the big dog show, the Westminster Dog Show, and that was what she gave her dog for water, was Fiji water.
yeah. Uh, it's amazing what some pet owners the lengths of expenses. I mean, respect to them. I remember uh I met a very accomplished musician that played at Lincoln Center, and like at an illustration show of all things. It was with a friend. So, uh, and she was complaining that uh, Manhattan had changed so much for her. Like she went out for like about an hour trying to find this special fruit, a type of food for her iguana,
Yeah.
and couldn't find it because the store had closed down. And I looked it up, and it's like, oh my goodness, this food was given to the aristocracy, as a delicacy. And it's iguana it's eating.
John, you ready for
So,
your show?
Anytime you're ready.
All right, let's do it.
oh, your volume's a little low.
Ray, last week I did a talk on shape design and talked a little bit about value control. I talked a little bit about it weeks ago, but I wanted to do a little quick segment on it because they kind of go hand in hand. The thing that describes shape so well is value, whether something's light against dark or dark against light. And I brought that up a little bit the other day, and I wanted to take it further. So Ray, I hope you're taking notes because I want you to get this right. Perfect that you're here. So here's a value scale, and sometimes value scales go from 0 to 10 like this. And sometimes they go from 10 to 0, just depending on whichever one you pick up. I know this is really, really, everyone's like, okay, well, you've broken down the value scale in 10 sections, but I think it's really important to have one around and think about it, because when you group values, it's really nice to be able to pick a range of values and just work in that values, and you can choose them from it. It's very helpful to have a value scale around, especially when you're just figuring things out and you're learning how to think this way. So with the value scale, I did some. I'm gonna use some of my drawings, so I apologize for that. But I did these for the purpose in a foundations course to explain what value control does. And, once you decide where an object goes in a picture, then you have to decide, is this going to be light against dark or dark against light? And so by grouping values in a method in me drawing this way, these are just done with a light and a dark and a mid-tone paper. But on the light side, the Venus de Milo there is obviously a light shape against a dark background. There's light explaining form inside of that, but go back to that value scale that we were talking about. And they're probably range from on the statue itself, they probably range from like a 1 to like, well, I can't remember which one. Yeah, those went from 0 to 10. So they probably range from like a 1 to a 4 on the statue itself, maybe a 5 in a couple of spots. But even my dark on the dark side is not, it's probably like a 7 or an 8. It's not a true 10. It's not a pure black. But in doing that, in grouping the value that way, the silhouette stays really strong. I'm not breaking up the shape of something by having high contrast of something really dark inside of it, where it becomes a separate shape. And that will start distorting your shapes in your picture if you have huge contrast inside one shape. I mean, there's times you do that. I'm not saying never think that way. Again, Mike Magnolia from creator of Hellboy is a master at it, of just going from black and white and designing around it, but he used it as a design element all the time. And I'm just talking about seeing an object, seeing something and letting it explain itself well. By grouping your values, keeping them in a close range, it allows the shape to be much more readable. So on the dark side, what is that? The wing spirit of Nike, is that right? The wing.
Nike of Samrith.
Yeah, thank you. Say that again.
Nike of Samrith.
Yes, but it's all, I mean, there's a longer name to it, but it doesn't matter. That's obviously a dark shape on a light background. There's nowhere the lights, they seem light because it's relative against the dark, but this light on here, if it was right next to the lightest light in the background, are much darker. They're grouping together and the most important thing is give it the squint test. Squint at it and you see the entire shape all at once. And that can be very, very helpful in designing your pictures. Now, applying it to pure just figure drawing, the one on the left is a very just maybe 10 minutes of drawing. The one on the right is much more polished. But notice that there's no darks inside of this figure that compete with the background. The flesh, the relationship of the lightest light and the darkest dark of the shadow inside the flesh are very close together. The drawing, the shape of it is doing so much of the lifting for me on both sides. The one on the right has a lot more range to it because it's much more polished. I actually prefer the one on the left. I like the immediacy of it and the movement and the energy of it. But it's a way that I teach drawing that way. I learned to draw this way. And it is, it allows you to step away, that you don't have to bring. So there's very, very little finish or render on the one on the left, but it still explains everything it needs to explain. And that's what I like about this method. You establish the shape is doing most of the lifting. And the last slide I'm going to show here is just this blue shirt. And back to what I was saying is how an object is seen. There's a such thing as a counter change. That you could have a light against a dark, and if part of the figure or part of the object that you're drawing or painting changes value tremendously, you could make the background lighter behind it. And it could do both. Now, this is something that's a midtone. The values are pretty close together, and you'd have the option to go either direction. You put a light behind it, it becomes a dark against the light. You put a dark behind it, it becomes a light against the dark. You're not doing anything with your midtone and your value control, your values that you've chosen that group together closely. You can go either direction in your picture design. Anyway, this is extremely, as a constructive picture maker, this is a necessity to understand this. It will help you in your composition and your design of explaining things on the page. Anyway, that's all I got. That's all. I just wanted to take a few minutes and talk about value control a little bit.
Fantastic. So important.
It's all about the values, folks.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite thing Ray says when we're teaching in class, when somebody says, I'm really having trouble with my color. And Ray usually said, well, it's usually not the color. It's usually the value that's the problem. And that is so true.
You say that. That's got to be one of the more common random emails I get from people outside the program. Is they're like, I just can't figure out color yet. Like,
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I was one of those people. I mean,
yeah.
color was my biggest weakness. I've said it multiple times. I mean, I had to be taught color. So uh, I mean, my two teachers that really taught it to me were my color theory teacher, Cameron Wasson, and of course, one of my mentors, Bill Mon. But Bill really taught me how to put it into context. But the one thing he said was, it really has mostly to do with your values. It's mostly your values that are the issue, because it's usually a light against a dark. That the thing that John was talking about the fact that, like, there are specific values, right? Range of light to dark. One other thing I'm going to add is, like, and also John was saying, on top of that, you have to understand that there's specific values, but also the appearance of those values is relative to the value next to it. So you cannot design, in a pit with a pinhole view of things. You've got to have a sense of the entirety of your picture, the overall picture design, or the overall value design of your whatever image you're working on. Because that little thing that with the that little example that with the blue shirt is huge. It's actually what the source of many a drawing issues, or value issues, I should say. Um, Especially when understanding how to interpret the value.
Well, I knew Ray would chime in. So thank you, Ray. I see.
Everybody, this is a good moment to move on to our next reference. So please post your work with us on Instagram. We're going to check it out at the end of the night. The tags tonight, and I got a screen capture. It shows an empty hashtag from George. I'm trusting George. I didn't look it up. So gosh, George, I hope that's not fake. Please do hashtag regime hive, REGIME hive, and hashtag drawing hive and Visual Arts Passage. Also, worth noting, I don't know how valuable it is, but if you want to tag the HBO's account for the regime, you can. They only have 380 followers. So, and it's the official account. So, Cassandra, I think you're not wrong to say they need a bit more of a marketing team behind this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, 380. That ain't good. But yeah, so you could tag them. I'm sure they'll share it. But it might be better if like Kate Winslet shares your work.
Or A24.
A24. Yeah. Is this a show produced by H24? Am I behind in the
Oh
conversation?
no, I thought you guys were saying that it was. I haven't watched yet.
No,
Sorry.
I don't think so. I think we were just talking about like cultured things, and A24 made its way into it.
I think it's an
Satire.
HBO Max product. So
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right, John. A24 got purchased by HBO, didn't it?
I don't
Something
know.
like that. A24 is what HBO used to be. That's my take. But yeah, please share your work. We want to
I
check it
feel
out.
like you're a guy just
Hashtag-
holding sign like change my mind.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
Hashtag controversy hive.
I don't think that's controversial. Do you? It used to be. I'm not even going to say that everything HBO used to do was amazing, but it was like
A little more highbrow.
it was like smart usually, or it felt
yeah.
like it was like, if it wasn't like smart, it felt like it was like deeply tapped into like a niche or a culture, you know,
Yeah. HBO
like in a
boxing.
way that like something
Uh,
else wasn't. So I think of like The
do you
Wire,
remember?
Soprano, like,
Well,
yeah. I don't know.
Even before that, do you know what their first produced thing was?
Was it Oz?
No, it was a movie about the stand-up wars between um, Letterman
Leno?
Late night?
and Leno. Yeah, yeah, the late night wars.
Ah,
Yep, and like
nice.
who was going to take Johnny Carson's
I remember
spot?
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh. I didn't
I
know
thought
that.
you would have. I thought you
Wonder if
would have
that's
seen
is it
that.
good? Is it good?
That's a crazy movie. Oh yeah, it's great.
I'm gonna check it out.
And it's like
No, somebody I got
HBO's producing it in
lectured.
themselves.
Man, I got lectured by Salcuse like a week ago about because he was like, I want the scene to look like something right out of The Comedian. And I was like, sorry, dude, you're gonna have to get another editor. I haven't seen
Oh man.
it. No, I wasn't that. I'm a little bit more calculated than that. No,
Imagine.
no,
Now
you
that's a
said,
note you send back to the director.
yeah, right, yeah. No, I educated myself. But I think The Comedian went through HBO too. I mean, an HBO comedy special was like gold,
Oh yeah,
you know? Yeah. So,
Mike
uh,
Tyson's was it when Mike Tyson did Undisputed Truth? Was that his? Was
there
that
you go.
HBO?
Can you, what's the equivalent of that in the art world?
In the
Can you think of like an institution in like the illustration world that just like nothing but hits?
oh, that's an interesting. I would say, well, I'd akin it to it. I think every little part of the at least illustration has those places. You know, like you could say like entertainment design. You know, you could equate it to like video game studios or
Yeah.
movie studios or that type of stuff. I would think magazines, like the op-ed page of the New York Times at one time was the spot.
Yeah, that's a better question. What
You
is
know,
like the I don't want to limit it to print, but just like
yeah,
the the Olympics of publications or institutions that just like
Oh,
What
for
about like
decades.
Folio Society?
I know, or
right.
some of the editorials that are just have been premium for so long, like Rolling Stone and the New Yorker. Um,
Hmm.
I
the
feel like
Or like
the
planned sponsor. You know,
Atlantic Monthly used to be that way too.
yeah. Who do you what art director do you think was in the game the longest? Like, because I
Well,
feel like that would have like a big effect on the
well,
reputation of someone.
it was Sports Illustrated.
Really?
Oh my God. Richard Dangle at Sports Illustrated,
yeah, man.
Art Paul at Playboy, Arthur Hochstein at Time Magazine. And those were all like legends.
Yeah. Without getting into the
Um,
weeds too much with Playboy, I've had conversations with people that I'm like, you don't understand. Playboy used to be like
oh yeah, just
like a really like I don't I want to be really careful with what I say here. Like
No, it had really
uh,
good. Yeah,
there
it
are
was known. It
articles.
was
it had good editorial content.
The editorial
yeah,
content was often, I don't know if the word highbrow is correct, but interesting.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
They were like murder mystery short stories. I mean, really
yeah,
famous authors published it,
yeah.
and illustrators for that matter.
Yeah, great
I mean,
illustrators worked in there.
The taste, the taste in editorial, and I'm not condoning all the negative stuff that comes with that, but there was a window of time where it was like really reputable to be featured as a writer or as an artist in that magazine.
I
mhm.
hate to give Hugh Hefner the credit, but um, the it was, it was a well thought of magazine for,
Yeah.
besides the other side of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's not anchor ourselves to Hugh
Yeah.
Hefner too much.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I was going. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
But you can look at, I mean, take it another place,
let's,
take it to Sports Illustrated.
yeah.
Richard Gangle, I mean, he was most, in fact, Art Director of the Year award is at the Society of Illustrators is named the Richard Gangle Award because he was such a superstar. And he established the look and feel of that magazine and held it for a very, very long time. Somebody else that could be credited at that level is Fred Woodward at Rolling Stone.
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Anyway, great, there's always, the venues, I mean, they've changed a lot, the venues for illustrators. We've talked about this before. It's like kind of one of the things that I think my dad got a lot of credit for. He was like the last really well-known women's magazine illustrator for the women's stories, the stories in magazines. And there was always a group of, 3 to 6 individuals that did a bulk of that work, for decades. And, go all the way, I mean, you can go back to the original ones, the ones that, that most people know as a starting point is just is Norman Rockwell. And, the venue was so great, the power of the magazines that he was, Post and Collier's and things that he was working for, made him a household name. And, illustration's gone a lot of different places. It's been segmented. There's still great, there's a tremendous amount of illustration work to be done. And, people that are good picture makers and storytellers, there's opportunity. Just, it kind of follows technology and changes with technology.
So when you talk about some of these, so here's my question: with some of the names that you just mentioned, as far as art directors, is it a credit to just how good they were, but also like their staying power, like their ability to just stay in the game long?
Well, part of it was the power of the magazine itself, it being a vehicle that was a venue that so many people used for entertainment.
Uh-huh.
It's gone so many, television has eclipsed it. Obviously
Yeah.
phones, it's different places, gaming, all of that. But it used to be so focused in that arena that the art director, the visual side of those magazines, it was like they had equal power as the editors, for the writing. And they had a tremendous amount of sway with the magazine, and the look and feel of it was extremely important.
Wow.
That's changed a lot.
I mean, it's just pretty. Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. You talked about like that transition of like people's attention, I think about an art director's ability to navigate through taste, era, trends, identifying the difference between a trend and something that will be timeless is I find pretty fascinating. I think about that with I saw it, Ray, you probably, I mean, I'm sure the algorithm has delivered this one to you. Is there's an interview with it's 60 Minutes with Rick Rubin, and he's like,
No. Oh yes,
he is he is like really struggling, and he's speaking so slowly, he's thinking about every word, and they're like, what do you do? Like, and they're like, do you play music? And he's like, no, I don't play music, and I don't understand music, and I don't know anything about music. I have intense confidence in my understanding and taste. That's not what he says, but it's like the gist of it, I guess.
It's pretty much, yeah. You actually said more than what he said. you know.
Yeah. And you're just like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Yeah. I don't know. I was on the topic of like what where we find entertainment in our interaction. Um, John, you were talking about like the platform of Sports Illustrated that had or Playboy or like I don't mean to keep bringing up Playboy, like all these publications that like the platform they had and the size of it. And this week I was like did a random Google search where I was like, how many people at any given time are watching Netflix? I could not find an exact number, right? Because they're very secretive. They're very cloak and dagger about their streaming. Uh, but I was able to find out that the average Netflix subscriber spends 3.5 hours per day watching Netflix.
Oh,
Isn't that unbelievable?
that's a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's hard
Can
work.
you imagine the metrics that are
It's a
garnered from
half a
that?
shift. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The metrics drawn from that. Yeah. The date, like
Yeah.
what they scrape from that is probably incredible. Yeah. Um, it is interesting. I'm not, I don't know. I don't really have anything. I don't have a conclusion about it. I just thought I was like, wow, that's so interesting because I don't think people had like I don't know. I'm trying to rope this back into like what we're talking about with like people's ability to enjoy entertainment and culture, right?
Well,
So
I think
like that
also,
changes
yeah,
over
I think
time, you know?
it
And like
does. Yeah. And
we have more
it's
time
like,
now. Some people would say we have more time now, but then a lot of what I've read is we actually have way less time now. But I don't know.
I think
Go
it's
ahead,
definitely
Ray. Sorry.
affected the type
Mhm.
of artwork that's done on a massive scale. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's always, I mean, I think illustration has always had a very intense relationship with commerce. I mean,
Yeah.
Sure.
and the industrial revolution is what John was saying. I mean, like if you look at Howard Pyle and NC Wyeth, and that was a fixed time, but they got to see. Unfortunately, they died very frustrated at the industry because what they viewed was illustration was gone. Um, by the time they were much older, because the books that were like Harper's and Collier's and all these publications that were huge realized that they made more money from advertisers than they did subscribers. So that changed not only the look of the magazine, but also the look of the art. And it was much more culturally significant. The fact
Yeah.
that like an illustrator like Al Parker, when you get to like the 40s and 50s, Cooper that era of like Cooper Studios of women's magazines, that he dictated actual fashion trends with his paintings. That
I mean, it's so funny you
eh,
mentioned him of all people. I
Can you say that name one more time for
Al
everybody?
Parker.
Al, Al Parker.
Yeah, and I was going to tell you, Ray, I met this, and Timmy will know the name when I say it, but I met this very successful businessman in Kansas City who, um, this was like 25 years ago. My good friend Brent Watkinson was renting a studio in this building, livestock exchange building in the West Bottoms in Kansas City. And I went in, and the owner of the building who officed there, very friendly guy, came up. His name was a very successful man named Bill Haw, Haw.
Bill Haw.
And he Brent is again super nice guy and very can be very terrific socially. And Brent introduced me to him. He'd become friends with him and introduced me to him. And he said, "Oh," and he explained who my father was and as an illustrator, and that I was an illustrator. And he said, "Well, he goes, uh, I know an illustrator that my sister was married to." And have you ever heard of a guy named Al Parker?
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
And I almost fell down. And I said, I've not only heard of him, I've met him a couple of times. And he first didn't believe me because of the age thing. And he said, how could, and I explained to him, I said, I said, he was a friend of my father's. I met him when I was a teenager. And I talked about him and he's like, oh my gosh, you do know, you have me, you do know him. And really interesting, he ended up buying most of Al's work and
What?
donating a bunch of it to WASU, which
Whoa.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Bill Ha's an interesting
His
dude.
he was married to his sister, and so he was helping his sister out after Al had passed away, by helping her financially by buying a bunch of his work. And I just thought, wow, that's fantastic.
That would be such a fun life to just be like, I can financially fix it. And like, and every day be like, I'm gonna make somebody, I'm gonna fix everybody's. The person I run into today who's the most upset, I'm gonna fix all their problems.
Ah,
Yeah. He's an interesting guy. My dad got to know. I didn't know. I only saw him from across the room. People being like, "That guy's Bill Ha."
Well, I told that story to your father, and
Yeah.
what he took away from it, he said, can you set up a lunch with
Yeah.
him? And so I got to go to the lunch with Bill and your dad.
Yeah,
It was
that
pretty fun.
great.
He was a very successful, he kind of changed how ranching was actually done. He took it away from, the traditional American cowboy to much more of a sophisticated way of,
The Robert Redford of cowboying.
yeah.
Yeah. Flint Hills. and
Right
all that.
on.
Yeah. Really beautiful stuff. Yeah.
Man. That's a great story.
That was pretty cool.
So I can't believe I didn't, you know what? I never asked you. I didn't know that you met Al Parker, but of course you would have.
Yeah. I met him the first time in Westport, Connecticut. And then the second time he came to the illustrators, it spoke at the illustrators workshop in Carmel, California. And then
No way.
a bunch of us went to his house afterwards, which was pretty cool.
Oh man. That's
Yeah.
jeez. If anybody's never heard of Al Parker, please look him up.
Yeah, he was
He's still influential today.
yeah. I agree.
Yeah, that's wow. Parker, man. That's the guy.
Big handlebar mustache. Very
Oh, really?
cool.
Rock and roll.
Really cool looking guy.
So rock and roll.
Yeah, he looked the part. Let's put it that way.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. It is pretty amazing. And like I feel like you talk about John, I mean, you both mentioned he did things that dictated or didn't dictate, but massively influenced fashion. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I mean,
What were
like,
those?
the well, the one that I could absolutely, the one I could think of that comes to mind is the idea of mothers and their daughters dressing alike,
Wow.
matching outfits. That was Al Parker's illustrations. Did that. I think it was
Really?
Woman's Home Companion. I think, John, I could be wrong about.
That you love to hear about an idea that's so simple as that you honestly think like, oh, well, that was just like instinctual that they
right.
match.
In
But
14th century, they had similar brocades. to wear.
yeah, and you just kind of take it for granted. You're just like, yeah, of course. And it's honestly like I always think about it with like the sign, like if you rewatch Seinfeld, you start to realize how much of our things that are like cultural that we think are just like innate, but like we're because of art, like because of a show, like double
Mhm.
dipping. Double dipping is Seinfeld. you know? So you think about, I don't know. That
I don't know. I grew up hearing "Don't double dip." That's not just Seinfeld.
I think that
It
is,
was in the
I think you
milieu
got
and
Mandela. I think you got
Seinfeld.
Mandela effect.
Like he can
No,
no no
I
no no.
know
That is not Mandela effect. That is
that
like
is not Mandela effect. You're
So
Mandela
you think
effect,
that
Timmy.
was a hack episode of Seinfeld that they just stole it?
I'm not saying
No,
it's I mean
they
I'm saying they
entombed it
probably
in
their
the.
mom probably told them not to double dip. Every mom tells their kid not to double dip. That is not a Seinfeld like original.
Contemporized it and popularized.
Like
Yeah.
because every kid is always like trying to just take the same soggy chip and put it into the dip. So that is like not a
Okay, I'll give you another one then. Richard Lewis and the concept of which RIP, Richard Lewis and the concept of blank from hell, the trip from hell, the boyfriend from hell, the whatever, the job from hell. That is a Richard Lewis joke.
okay. I'll give you that one, but I will
Yeah.
not give you double dip.
We were talking about Seinfeld. We were talking
Yeah,
about
no,
Seinfeld.
no, I
That
know.
was on Curb.
Yeah, no, I know. No. I'm not talking. I deviated from Seinfeld on my.
Yeah.
I guess, but I'm just saying, like in the same realm of the like the idea of like a small thing that you think is just like, oh, we just all that just organically occurred. We just all like hive minded the idea of like that's the blank from hell. But no, like
Right.
one person came up with it and made it,
Trendy.
and like brought it like
Yeah,
kind of
one person Al
created.
Parkered it.
Yeah.
What about like the Gibson girl? Didn't that influence like the way
Oh
women
my
do their
gosh.
hair? Kind of, you know?
Oh yeah,
Can you
huge.
elaborate? Sorry, I didn't.
Huge.
That went over my head.
The
Sorry.
Gibson girl from turn of the century, that like high bun, like that. I mean, that was everything.
Well, it wasn't just that one bit of fashion. It was like every time he made a change, it was
Right.
they followed his work. And
This
that
is
was the Gibson
Charles
curve.
Dana.
Yeah,
Charles-
We're talking about
Dana
Charles
Gibson.
Dana Gibson.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Okay.
So this is the. So
So-
his females were called were known as the Gibson girls. It was a nickname.
All right.
See that
So-
piled bun.
yeah. So Cassandra, I will start this off by saying you are correct. The beginning of my um r- my personal championing tour is going to start with Cassandra was correct. However, the Seinfeld and like coining terms and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a better way of like looking at these things. So you're 100% right. That
I
it
thought you were gonna
totally
get her on the Gibson girl.
no. I'm going with Seinfeld. No,
Okay.
I had to check it because I was like, oh, it's interesting. And also, how many people have I told Seinfeld is responsible for double dipping over the years?
They're responsible for other things, like you're eating trash, like that.
Yeah. So,
Or no soup
but
for
no,
you.
Yeah.
but what? Yeah, you're
Timmy,
totally
you
right.
told me that a couple of weeks ago, and I agreed with you. I didn't
You
know.
were just like, I don't want to fight with Timmy right now. But
Well, I didn't disagree with you at the time. I didn't think much about it, but I definitely agree with Cassandra on that. So
it so they cemented it into like the zeitgeist, I guess, which is
Yeah.
kind of what you were
I-
saying.
Sure.
You already said that.
Yeah.
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 All right. I'm just gonna log
You're
off.
okay, man. No, you're you're good.
I'm just gonna, hey guys, have a nice night.
Timmy, considering
if
we
you
didn't
found-
share
if
your
you-
desktop, you had a good night.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have gone
Timmy,
way
if
worse,
and
right?
and for those you if you watching, if you can think of anything else Timmy got wrong, you can email him at
Thank
dale@visualartspassage.com.
you. Now I'm
Hey,
on
so I
a-
have some Charles Dana. I have some Al Parker
Oh,
stuff.
let me
You
highlight
wanna-
that. That's great.
So okay, so this is did I show the did
Yeah,
you see
you
the Charles
showed
Dana Gibson stuff?
There you
Can you
go.
imagine that this dude was responsible? It was like the last person you'd ever think, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not like he never got any more hair.
No,
This is the most hair I've ever seen him. Like
And he
what?
really looks like a ball of fun, doesn't he?
Yeah, right. But he was like responsible for yeah, it's amazing. And this is Al Parker's here you go. See?
I
Lady
love
yeah,
this.
woman's
Yeah.
Ladies Home Journal.
yeah.
So do you? So
Check it
yeah,
out. Isn't that cool?
definitely made moms dress like daughters. Wow.
I love this one.
Oh yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy. You're dead on. That's totally. I always think of
This is my
Arrested
Yeah,
Development.
he's the one that made all these women have to do all this work to try to find those two completely different sizes. Thanks, Al
Yeah,
Parker.
you're like, I want an
thanks,
outfit that
Al.
matches. I want an outfit that matches the outfit for a 3-year-old.
Yeah, seriously.
It's expensive and complicated. Thanks, Al
Yeah,
Parker.
yeah. They're like the 3-year-old's outfit's going to be super cheap. Your outfit is going to cost a small fortune.
Yeah.
And you're like,
So
it's only
that's
8 times bigger. Yeah.
that is Al Parker. But
Real quickly, everybody, we're moving on to the third and final reference. So it's a long one. So please post your work to Instagram. We're going to check it out at the end of the night. It's hashtag regime hive at Visual Arts Passage and hashtag drawing hive. John, that's really cool. I love that.
Mhm. You got that pose, the angle.
yeah, John. That reference reminds me of a Frank Duveneck painting.
Yeah, I love that. I love the angle of it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, very seldom do I do a portrait that's on a horizontal, but I love how it sits on the page here.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to paint. I stopped before I messed it up.
Oh, you did a
Yeah,
great.
you got it really
You nailed
good.
it.
You were smart.
A lot of
No,
Control Z, you know. But
I liked
yeah,
your
if I
than this.
thanks, Jen. Yours is looking amazing.
Mhm.
It's got a ways to go.
What
I
a
was thinking a lot about that today. Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
go ahead.
Damon.
No, you go ahead, Ray.
Well, I was in my studio. I'm working on this painting, and I was thinking a lot about how how in tune, like how aware I have to be of when something is done,
Mm.
and there's certain passes that I nailed in the first stroke, and other ones that I'm like repainting, like or attacking 4 or 5 or 50 times, however many times to make it look like or feel like the stuff that I nailed in the first stroke. And it is something I had to learn. It was a long time in learning about design and being aware of it. And
I think
um,
that's totally what I always look at by saying, that's a mature artist working that's capable of doing that, but it's able to recognize something really good is happening and to leave it alone. And
Yeah.
that's a tough one. And that's of all the lessons and all the things that I deal with, it's like that's the one that gets me the most.
well, because it's constantly a moving target, and you have to be very sensitive to it. And if you're distracted or you're just worried about something else and you're not keeping your eyes on the prize, it'll just pass you and you realize like, oh no, the picture was done a half an hour ago. Now I gotta undo, but all this or 3 hours ago, but now I gotta like revert everything back to what it looked like so that I can get back to the freshness.
Right.
You know, I've been doing a lot of, and John is, you know, and Cassandra have seen this, like where, for those who don't know, like in our classes in visual arts passes, the painting classes, you know, we're always constantly demoing and showing our process and everything. So you'll know how all of us work, and we love sharing that type of stuff. And one of the things I like showing is how I'm designing, or one of the solutions to that I implement when I'm painting on a painting, which is to try and paint the best painting I can digitally, you know, like doing a small study, a color study, and then painting on top of that and trying to finish it off digitally and using that as my reference. And I am more attuned to that what we're talking about now, because there are a lot of times where I'll paint on something and then I'll end up turning off the layer and realizing like, oh, the painting was like, that area was like a stroke away. So I'm just going to get rid of this layer and just throw the stroke in. Like, it's like you're searching for the right strokes to, the right marks, the right shapes to express what it is you want to express. And it's, you know, it's not about information. It's not about, you know, all that stuff is important, understanding how to put detail in and, you know, understanding form. But when you're making a picture, it's a constant balance, a battle of understanding how to make something look involved, but not um, overly done, you know?
Mhm.
Uh, I kind of have a question. Let me know if this is a similar thing, because I saw this a lot in photography and when we would shoot, when I was like on set for motion. Um, if you shoot at night, or not, if you shoot at night, if you're shooting a scene that is supposed to be set at night, it's it's becoming increasingly rare that you actually shoot it at night. Um, because of the parameters you end up with, just creating a limitation for yourself. So you shoot day for night.
Mhm.
Most night scenes that you see in movies were shot in broad daylight. And one of the most like compelling reasons for this is that when they do shoot at night, you have to light at night. And you have to create what you think is like the lighting for a nightscape. And what happens is every cinematographer overlights. They like overdo it. They like overthink it. And it ends up, they just like meddle with it too much. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm. Ray, and I know Cassandra's heard me say this before. I think Ray probably has too. Probably everybody in the room has, but I'll say it again. One of my favorite quotes from my father is, for the first 5 minutes I make art, the rest of the time I just try to save it.
Oh my gosh, I love that quote always.
Yeah.
And he would commonly, just typical of my father, because I heard another artist, I heard that quote, I read that quote somewhere. He said, but I can't remember who said it, but he goes, I'm taking it as mine.
That's good. On the topic of saving your art, uh, I want to remind everybody, our we're currently enrolling Visual Arts Passage. If you're not familiar with our program, if this is your first time tuning in, we offer illustration, fine arts, and character design courses. They're all online. They're all personal. They're all you're gonna be closely tied to your teacher in a small classroom as you develop your skills, you set your goals, and you pursue them to make a professional future out of it. John and I did not develop a program for hobbyists. This is you want to become a career artist, this is your program. And so it is all built around that idea. Nothing here is for the faint of heart. It's all about, do you want to make this your future? This is how you're going to do it. And with that in mind, every class we have is taught by somebody that's how they live. That's their day in, day out is art. So we are currently enrolling. The spring semester starts April 20th. So a little bit more than 15 days out. A lot of the classes are pretty healthy full. So space is definitely limited. And I just want to run through, uh, I would say we are the most I would say this confidently. We are the most resource heavy program for learning illustration and fine art that you can find for the dollar you spend. In addition to 3 hours a week in your homeroom class, you're getting a weekly study hall. And to explain what study hall is it's a weekly meetup every Wednesday night where you can share your work, you can get group critique, you connect with other teachers in the program. So this is reaching out past your course. You're going to meet other students in the program. You're going to meet people who are way, way further on in the program than you are, who are they're getting help from Sterling Hunley on navigating an actual job they got from a major publication. That happens. In addition to study hall, you get guest speakers, and we have a pretty stellar lineup of guest speakers next semester. And I just want to go through it. We have Nicholas Cole, a really incredible. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and share this because I want people to see the work because I know not a lot of readers. So let's do this. I'm gonna make sure I don't Cassandra. Cassandra, let me know if I share my whole desktop again. Yeah, just double checking everything. All right, here we go. Okay, so we got Nicholas Cole. Nicholas is an incredible illustrator, character designer. Will Nichols, also another illustrator, character designer, incredible work. And then this is where it kind of gets really interesting. Lauren Panapinto is VP and art director at Orbit Books. We bring people into our classroom not only that understand the technical skills and know what you need to know, like to do to succeed, but we bring in people from the other side that are they're going to tell you like, well, this is what I want as an art director. This is the type of illustrator I look for. This is the way I like to be approached. These are my expectations, and these are the expectations of other art directors or studio heads or whatever. And I don't know anybody else doing this. Edward Kinsella, Vap Royalty, taught with us for a really long time. He's a busy artist. He's coming back as a guest speaker.
More importantly about Edward, one of our past students.
Yeah, there you go. And cleaning up every year when it's awards ceremonies are going on, it's almost annoying how many awards he gets. It's incredible. He's an incredible speaker, really inspiring. He's also an artist that I don't want to speak out of turn because I know this is his story, but he's an artist that went through the experience of like not everybody being super supportive of him wanting to be an artist. And he often talks about that. And it's really I don't know. I think that's incredible to be able. He's a person that he didn't have. And not everybody believed in what he wanted to do, and he's gone on to work for some of the most notable publications, um, editorial work, publishing, covers. I know he's worked with Jordan Peele, which is some of my favorite work he did for the movie Us. Um,
Folio
for
Society
yeah, Criterion
Oh, love
Collection. I mean,
Collection, Kind Magazine,
yeah, he's a
Rolling
royalty.
Stone.
And then we've got Gerard Dubois, a French illustrator and painter. Incredible. This is his
Incredible.
first time joining us with Visual Arts Passage. I'm pumped for that one.
Yeah, one of my favorite illustrators.
Is that true?
Likewise.
Oh,
Ditto.
absolutely.
Yeah, big
You
time.
guys going to be able to control yourselves for that one? Should we get? Should
No.
I see?
No, just mute my mic. It's okay. I won't be offended.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the best and most creative illustrators.
Yeah. And then Lindsay Gallant is coming back. Lindsay Gallant is an art director. She is they're the art director at Absurd Joy. They've been listed as a 30 under 30 by Forbes magazine. These are people that you want to know what You want to know what they're doing, and you want to know what their path was, and you want to know what you want, that wisdom. They've got golden wisdom. And I just it's like it's not a coincidence when you start learning about the people you really like admire or that inspire you or the great artists. A lot of them often come from some of the same hubs. It's not a coincidence. And I'm really proud to say that Visual Arts Passage is becoming a hub in a lot of the ways that the Illustration Academy has been a hub for decades at this point, of just like, oh wow, what a wild coincidence that like some of the most worked, some of the most hired, sought after artists all happen to attend this one thing, you know? And there's a really strong community that comes with that. So the classes start April 20th. Enrollment closes on the 19th. Don't sleep on it.
Well said, Timmy.
Very well said.
Something that
And no desktops were shared the whole time.
Thank God.
Yeah. You have a weird social security number though, Timmy.
yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
On a completely separate note, can I tell you, Kate Winslet and Scarlett Johansson are similar in a way I didn't expect when I'm trying to get Kate Winslet. I feel like I'm getting a little ScarJo here.
What do you think that is?
I mean, they have strong eyes and eyebrows, and I feel like I don't know, I'm swinging a little bit over to Scarlett Johansson here.
Similarly, I think that Hugh Grant's trajectory from being maybe one of the prettiest British boys to this, I think is going to be mirrored by Timothy Chalamet.
Well, and I know this is where Hugh Grant wants to be. He like does
Yeah,
not want to be
he
the
seems really comfortable doing it.
yeah, he said he's having way more fun. He doesn't ever want to be the romantic guy, the love interest.
Well, he says that, but I don't,
Right, the right job comes
I don't
along.
think he has a choice.
But I will say, hands down, his best part was in Paddington 2. If you guys haven't seen it, you should. It deserved an Oscar. I kid you
Really?
not.
I've
Yeah,
always liked Hugh Grant. I like him.
I was
he
thinking
was
of Mickey Blue Eyes.
fantastic.
You
Have
remember
you
Mickey?
seen it, Ray? Ray, have you seen it?
No, I'm allergic to dogs, Cassandra. So,
It's a bear, man. It's
so
a bear.
oh, Paddington. My bad. I thought you meant Marley
Paddington.
and
Huh?
me. Oh,
Marley and
I
me.
thought
Or
I got it
something?
conflated with
Whoa, you hurt me.
Marley and me.
What a mistake that was.
I
You
know.
confused
I'm
Owen
sorry.
Wilson. Owen Wilson. Yeah.
You just threw me off when you said it deserved an Oscar. I'm like Marley and me, the lab,
Oh, Paddington 2.
the golden.
Hey,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Everybody says
I'm
Paddington.
no respected.
Labrador, and I cried my eyes out. So be careful.
Yeah.
I haven't
That's
seen
a
Marley and Me, so I can't speak to that one. But Paddington 2, I'm telling you, genius.
I
I love Paddington. I love the books for sure. So
Mhm.
respect. That's a good looking movie though.
Oh, it's beautifully done.
everybody says it's like one of the best. Like it's like deserves like a top 100 film list.
I liked Paddington 2 even more than Paddington 1.
I mean, no, I'm not exaggerating or like joking. Like
I'm not either.
I see it on I've seen it frequently on like top 100 lists of like best movies of all time.
I mean, I've always loved Paddington, but I was really
Yeah.
shocked when I saw the movie, like the second one, because how often, I feel like this could be a discussion in itself, but how often is the sequel, in your opinion, better than the first? And
It's
like,
really rare. It's very rare.
this is
It's
one
a
of those.
Godfather situation, Cassandra. So
Well, I feel like that is a big
that's
debate too.
rarefied air.
People love to debate Godfather 1 versus Godfather 2.
Yeah. Personally, Godfather 3 is the best one, obviously.
Oh my God. Let's just end this stream
I'm
right
just
now.
I
Thanks
mean
everyone.
sarcastic.
I know
don't
that
believe
was totally like a hot drop.
no, it's not the best one.
Enrollment ends
Ooh-ah.
soon. Make sure you sign up. Thanks, Timmy. Thanks.
Yeah, everybody's just like,
Have a nice
Gotta
night.
pull the plug on. Yeah.
I don't want to sign up for your class anymore.
I heard the whole crowd cringe. They all went like,
Yeah, well,
Oh,
it's
really?
yeah. On the topic of Marley and Me though, and not wanting to see a dog die at the end.
Whoa.
I have a
I
yeah.
didn't know that
Spoiler.
spoilers, man.
If the movie's older than a year old, I can say whatever I want. I can fully
A
spoil it.
year. Oh my God.
Yeah,
You are an
you get
animal.
one
Yeah, that's not
year.
enough time for a parent. You gotta, I mean, I know Barley and Me has been out for a while, but I'm saying you gotta give it 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go back to Marley and Me and say it was a yellow lab, and I had a yellow lab, and it was hard. It was
Yeah.
very difficult.
Someone, when I was to decide whether or not to get a dog, and this is a stolen joke they gave me, I was like, "Do you think I should do it?" They're like, "I don't know. Do you want to be devastated in 15 years?" I thought that was, a hilarious answer. uh, no,
Lot of
Marley and
time
Me.
for that.
Okay, so I have a thing that if there's a movie I feel kind of dicey about watching, where I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna make me feel, I go to a website and it's called Does the Dog Die? And
Of course, there's a website for that.
it's
No.
really great. It's actually, it sounds like a joke and really silly, but it is actually a website I recommend to people all the time. It's a fantastic website.
I agree. I've been
Um,
there.
Okay. It's a fantastic website. If there are certain things, you really cannot stomach, or that bother you, or like just like upset, because there are a couple things like that for me where I can tolerate a lot, but there are just certain things that I'm like, "Oop, can't do that." And
Mhm.
so I go, and it's not it started as a website that only did like, nope, no dog dies in this movie. And that was it. That was the only thing you learned from it. It'd be like, I'm gonna watch 1917, and it'd be like, no dog dies in this movie. But now it's like this long list of like hundreds of things. And it just tells you like whether or not it happens in the movie. And you can go through it without spoiling the movie. And like, no, and recently we watched Banshees of Inisherin, which is a
The Irish one, right?
yeah,
Is that Colin Farrell?
yeah, it was like a,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Oh, that?
there was a moment where I was like, oh my God, a dog is gonna die. I can tell it's coming. And I was like, this is over. We can't watch it. I can't watch this if this happens. Especially that movie was pretty brutal. And went to Does the Dog Die, and got my answer. And
Well, we lost Timmy.
Oh my God.
It was like a climatic moment, and I was like, is this a dramatic pause? Is that what
I
we've
think,
got going on here?
I think he had to stop because
I'm-
he's crying right now. So,
you can't, you couldn't edit that. You couldn't edit that any better.
Oh, that was amazing.
This might be the greatest episode of Drawing Hive that
This-
we've ever pulled off.
I'm waiting for him to come
Man,
back just to finish his statement.
no, he will. That's the thing. Do you want
Huh?
to though, or are you just going to be disappointed by the answer? I think the mystery of it is way more
It was a
interesting.
dramatic pause. I was waiting.
yeah. Can you not hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Now,
What happened? When
I
did I
don't
cut
know.
out?
The timing was epic.
I was just listening to you
Epic.
guys just
cut
like
out,
talk.
Timmy, you cut out right before your desktop was shown. So,
Yeah.
Oh no. I don't know what happened. The
It's
audio
like
just cut.
you're having
It-
a delayed
what-
April Fool's.
Yeah.
Timmy, whatever happened, I just want to say I'm proud of you. You are pulling off like the greatest cliffhanger in Drawing Hive history.
Oh, I don't know
It's
about
amazing.
that.
You're like,
I think it
looked
was.
at last
Surely
year.
that's got to
You
go to
stopped
Chris
at.
Payne or Bill Cove.
You stopped it at, and I looked it up. I got
Yeah.
my answer.
Oh, yeah. And then I made my choice based on that
Don't
answer.
don't fill it in. Don't finish it. We don't
Yeah.
like the mystery is more important.
Hooray.
Well,
Yeah,
Banshees
for me.
still is within that year window, I think. So I can't. I can't share. That's a
There you
spoiler. That's a
go.
legitimate spoiler. But yeah. No, I'm sorry, everybody. That wasn't really a pro moment for the show.
Or really fun.
Yeah.
I
We
think it
were
was a
all
genius
entertained.
moment for the show. Yeah.
I think everybody was
Oh,
equally entertained.
I think you'll get emails of support on this one
In Glee.
instead of
Right.
non-support.
Yeah.
Timmy.
I'm sure. I, I try to stay away from my email and Discord after drawing time. because I've noticed that's when it typically floods in. Yeah. Uh no.
All right, so I have not. So, Cassandra, do you go to the movies anymore?
Actually, this week is, like I was saying, spring break, so I haven't been in forever, but E-Man and I took the girls to see Kung Fu Panda 4. So that's the level of theater watching we've got going on right now.
Whoa!
That's fun.
So the kids are old enough to pull it off.
Oh my
How'd it
gosh, it's
go?
really exciting now. Yeah, like we've been waiting. Getting to take them to the movies is really fun.
Oh,
And
okay.
when it's a kids movie, like everyone else has kids. So when my kid is narrating exactly what's happening in the moment, no one cares.
Right.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's pretty great
Yeah,
that
that would kind of bug me if I was like in Dune 2 and like there was a kid narrating what
would
was
be like,
happening.
and then there's a sandworm and he walks towards it and the wind blows in his face.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
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 and you
Oh,
get things like, I like the way he rolls that way and that he kicked that way. Like it's just really matter of fact statements, which I'm entertained by because it's coming from them, but I imagine not everybody finds it as endearing. But in a kids' movie, no one
right.
cares. It's great.
That's fun. Yeah, I love going to the movies. I think there's going to be a renaissance of movie going.
I'm dying to go back to. I got to see Dune 2. I have yet to see it.
I
I
saw
haven't
it.
seen it yet.
I saw it. It was fun.
I got to see it. Did you see it IMAX? Because I got to see it
Yeah, it
IMAX.
did. I saw Dolby
Oh,
Atmos, IMAX. The chairs that feel like you're like being put to sleep for like a long space
yeah.
trip.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It did the full
It's
thing.
it's called
Yeah,
cryo sleep, okay?
yeah.
Uh
Now, Ray, when you go, are you going to get the special movie popcorn holder?
Probably not.
o- o- only for the show. Only for the
Yeah.
show.
That-
Yeah. But I'll mail it to you if I do.
Oh,
my
yeah.
I
my my one comment about Dune 2 that I thought was so funny that somebody else, it's not my original idea, but I thought was so funny is they were like, the Dune franchise right now is just a really long cologne commercial without cologne.
Ah,
right. Yeah.
And
I remember
aesthetically, it is the most dead-on description of those movies.
I like that.
Every scene with Zendaya and Timothy Chalamet just looks like where like it's about to like just like fade away and it's about to say like Ralph Lauren.
right.
Or I don't know, like one of the sand ones. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
like some
Of course. The
maybe
flowing
something a little bit
fabric,
more
sand.
some
Yeah,
yeah, something
yeah,
a little bit more la
yeah,
ti da than that. But yeah.
yeah.
Um
No, yeah.
Uh,
beautiful,
I'm there with
beautiful
you.
movie though.
I like Terry's comment. She says, I took my daughter to see Mr. Bean when she was like 5. When he ruined Whistler's mother's painting, she got so upset and started crying that he ruined it, that we had to leave the theater so I could explain it wasn't real. Great movie memory. I totally remember that moment. What's
Oh my
My
god.
buddy, Mr. Bean. No,
What's funny to me is how close that was to what somebody later did. That woman in Italy did to, was it like a painting of Jesus?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. She was
It
so
was,
sick of looking at it all messed up. Yeah, I
I feel
remember
like
that
if you
one.
do a side by side, it's probably pretty close.
Yeah. I that painting of Jesus is, is wild.
It feels like
Yeah,
the Mr. Bean moment.
it does. It does. It was one of those things that stuck to the internet like glue. That was wild. Yeah. It's almost as good. Well, no, that one's better than the Ronaldo statue.
Yeah, because this one was like, your day could be bad, but is it this bad?
Yeah. I don't know which one's worse. The Ronaldo statues. You know. I saw like Little Wayne, like the wax sculpture museum. What is it? Madam what what's the wax
Madame
sculpture?
Tussauds.
Yeah, they posted Little Wayne's image and he just commented like that ain't it. Like and he was really respectful. He goes, I completely respect the artist and like credit to them for trying, but this is not me. Yeah, that's the Ronaldo statue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he's like photographed next to like he's like posed with like it wasn't like some fan. Like it was like like they did a photo op with it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Terry posted the Jesus one too. Thank you, Terry.
The Jesus one, I just like feel bad for the lady who did it. And it's one of those things where you just knew she was going down this hole and like was just like digging it deeper and
It
deeper.
was straight up like the Mr. Bean moment. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I loved it. I saw Mr. Bean in the theaters.
I love Rowan
I don't know
Atkinson.
why.
I boycotted Rowan.
Why?
Think about it. Johnny English.
Yeah, Johnny English.
I totally forgot about that.
You- what? You sue him for like
Yeah,
for damages.
yeah, I thought about it.
Oh, that's so great.
That's
Uh,
great.
why does that make me like Rowan Atkinson even more?
Yeah.
There's a I don't yeah, there's a comedian I really love, James Acaster. Uh and his girlfriend left him for Rowan Atkinson.
What?
And he said that he has a whole special about how it's it's the most devastating blow for your partner to leave you for Mr. Bean.
Oh my gosh.
Like it's like not recoverable.
I
But
have a good friend, and for the longest time he lived in Thailand, and he looks a lot like Mr. Bean. And so he would be in a restaurant and people would think that he was Rowan Atkinson and like ask for pictures and they'd be screaming, Mr. Bean, Mr. Bean, Mr. Bean. And he was always just like mortified. He was like, this is not the celebrity like lookalike I wanted to have.
my little brother,
Unbelievable.
my little brother, I used to get this when I was really like when I was like oh teens to like mid 20s, and my little brother got it until a couple years ago. People would confuse us for Ryan Felipe. um it's been it's been like 15 years since I got it, but he would get it like constantly.
Well, that's a
um
better one.
no, it is, but it was funny because he could it wasn't people going like, Ryan Felipe, do you get that a lot? It was people believing he was Ryan Felipe. And so he was
Wow.
at a restaurant with my mom once, and my mom like keyed into it pretty fast. And she was like, the waitress thinks you're Ryan Felipe. The waitress was acting really weird, right? And at the end of uh their like meal, the waitress was like, so what are you doing in St. Louis? And he was like, I live here. I live here. And she was like, oh my God, I didn't know you live here. And he was like, yeah, I do. And she was like, can I take a photo? And Tony was like, sure. And Tony takes a photo. And you're like, you just know that this person texted it to her friends and they're like, that's not Ryan Felipe.
But that's even better. Like, he's
Yeah,
so much
it is.
smart to just let the picture be taken.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
That
never
is a
had
sad
a
moment when you
celebrity.
stop getting that. Like, yeah, that's a sad moment when it wears off. You stop getting that. And
Yeah,
then
I'm sorry, man. I mean, I'm sure
people are
somebody
slowly just
you'll
like,
be mistaken for someone else, another celebrity one day,
yeah, they're
maybe
like,
for
do you know who
yourself.
you look like? You look just like Gallagher.
Oh, I got at a restaurant. I went to a restaurant with a friend and they thought I looked like Shirley Jones, like the mom from Partridge Family. So I think that can fall under things you don't want to be told you look like.
Let me see.
She was not unattractive at all.
But like you don't want to be called when you're a teenager, someone's
Oh, yeah,
mom in
yeah.
a sitcom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No, thanks.
Like,
yeah.
awesome. Because it started out really cool. Like, oh, you look like a movie star. You look like a movie star. And I was like, oh, cool. Thanks. And
No.
then it ends with Shirley Jones. Like, that's just not where you want it to go.
Yeah. Up until
Yeah.
25, I was Ryan Felipe. And then at 26, somebody was like, you look just like Mike Birbiglia. And like, like, don't you ever talk to me again. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man,
It's tough.
That's a swing.
That's
Going from like Ryan Felipe. So you started at like at a real high spot. I never had the high spot. I just had Shirley
yeah,
Jones.
I did.
right. You just
Yeah.
like started off, everything was handed to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was given a nickname in high school. They'd call me Cruel Intentions. Yeah.
And then it all got taken
It
away.
got taken away.
Oh my God.
That explains why I understand the fragility of life.
Gallagher. You look like, yeah. Oh my
You
God,
look just like
Gallagher.
you look just like Gallagher. Yeah, you give Timmy a mallet and put a
A
hat on.
watermelon on a table.
Yeah, you just some of that's my own doing. I've chosen that life. Yeah,
Oh, I mean, I see a great Halloween costume for you there.
thank you.
Boom.
Yeah.
But there's no Halloween costume that can follow that though. So I wouldn't do it because then it'd be the last Halloween that you could dress up for.
Yeah.
Or
You
you
know?
just always dress up like Gallagher. You know, it's every year, like, here's Timmy as Gallagher
Gallagher.
again.
Gallagher.
I do appreciate somebody that finds a costume that works for them and just does the same one every year. I respect that.
The ones that do that, it's always something really random. It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like this epic costume. It's like, oh, they're back again as a stalk of celery.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? Remind me never to come up, be invited if I'm ever invited to a Halloween party. By Cassandra, I'm not going because I just cannot take the judgment.
I'm not judging, man. I'm saying like you can be the stalk of celery. Don't be the stalk of celery every year unless you truly commit to it.
You
The
change up to okay.
the most
I get
probably
what you're saying.
tumultuous chapter of me and Gianna's relationship was she made a costume for me for Halloween because she was like, we're going to this costume party. There's gonna be a competition and you have to have a costume. Because I was always the person that put the minimum effort into a costume. Didn't think about it until like a couple hours before. Just lazy. And she did Lloyd Christmas from Dumb and Dumber for me. And then I don't even remember her costume, but it was a lot of work. Hers was probably a ton of work. And I won the costume contest. And
Oh.
she was not happy about it because she was like, she's like, it's not even your costume. Like I designed it. I did all of it. I did everything for you. Yeah. She takes a lot of pride in her
Did
costume.
did you reply to her, said, yeah, but I'm the talent. So
I'm the talent. I'm the talent, you know? Yeah.
sorry, but
Yeah. Nobody knows who directed the top, like, you know, the Mission Impossible movies, but they all know Tom Cruise. Yeah. No, she was not happy about it. But that's why, you know, the early stages of Drawing Hive, when it was back when it was illustration isolation, she thrived on those nights where we did.
she was great at it.
Oh,
this-
she was
Oh
fantastic.
man. Yeah. Seinfeld, talking about that.
The
Adam's
Seinfeld night
Family.
was so much fun.
Yeah.
Adam's Family. Yeah, Adam's Family.
Oh
and
man,
Seinfeld.
She
yeah.
was a great Wednesday.
That's right.
I still have all of those photos. It's so wild to look back at them
I
sometimes.
feel like you have to frame a couple of them and put them on the wall.
I like the
that's
artwork.
that's a little like snapshot moment.
It was so cool too. Audrey Benjaminson sent me the Seinfeld night artwork that she did.
Oh, cool. Her
So
her Elaine.
yeah, and so I sent
Yeah.
Elaine. Elaine, you know, is here, and then I sent Christopher Kramer. Yeah.
Nice.
And you know what? I've thought about that night often, is I'm like, it's pretty wild. Nobody was like, and you obviously have to be George to me. And I'm so thankful that didn't happen. But like in hindsight, I'm like, that's crazy that we just skipped George and like so obviously should have been me.
Can't stand you.
Yeah.
Oh, you could have like done the pose on the Shea Lounge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been, yeah. That would have been,
Or
yeah, that would
double.
have been the end of Drawing Hive, which, you know what, during that window of time, there was a lot of nude figure drawing Zoom classes, which I still was always like, wow, wild, but
That is true. Yeah, you're right.
a weird chapter.
Yeah. Oh my
People were
God.
just like, I
Shay's
don't know,
Lounge.
everything's on the internet now.
You should have done the George thing where you photobombed like all the other pictures and you didn't realize it until,
Yeah, that
later.
I've become like a successful hand model. Everybody, I just want to let you know we're going to be moving over to Instagram pretty soon. So I'd start snapping photos of your work and posting it pretty soon. It's hashtag Drawing Hive, hashtag Regime Hive, and at Visual Arts Passage. Please share your work, and we're going to check it out. It's fun looking back at, you don't realize how much you grow until you like look at a photo. I don't know what it is about, you just see a photo and you're like, wow, that's crazy that that happened, or
Well,
that
it makes it more real somehow. Like, your memory of it versus seeing like the physical proof of the thing.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's it. But I don't know. It makes me like appreciate it more, but then
Mhm.
also I'm like, wow, how far we've come.
Yeah. Even the show itself is,
Yeah.
it was, I think the production quality has, well, we have production. We got
And then we
jingles.
just
We got,
steadily declined
nah.
over a long stretch of time.
You invited me
Well,
once
the
and
thing,
it never went away.
Yeah.
yeah, ditto, right? Ray, can you fill in? Sure, no problem. Uh,
Every time I talk with Christopher,
well,
he's like, how are you guys still running that thing without me?
Christopher, the model man, he's got an ego on him, but I get it. He was the best.
Do you guys want a quick Christopher the model update? It's
Yeah.
it's pretty wild.
I
It's
I think there should be a segment.
well, this is going to be a segment. I'll do it before we prepare to share the work. But Christopher has always been a free spirit, and he's the director of a pretty large farm in outside of Santa Barbara, California. And for anybody that's not familiar with Christopher the model, way back when everything shut down during COVID, Christopher is my childhood friend who posed for us, and we would snap photos. I would upload them in real time, and he would dress up in costumes. Like, and the episodes were like 4.5 hours. Like, it
We
was a
were all
lot.
there for it because we had nothing else to do.
Yeah, nobody had anything else to do.
Yeah.
So he's preparing for a shift, and he's a one of those Ivy League really talented writers, very he's an intellectual of sorts, and he's working on a project where he's never had a comfortable home his entire life. He's grown up in really difficult circumstances often, and he's doing a project about what is home to people, and he is walking from Brooklyn, New York to Santa Barbara, California.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah.
When did he start walking, or has he started yet?
He's starting in this later this spring.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so
Wow.
it's
Christopher
being
the
paired with
model.
a book and a podcast that's being produced. The guy knows how to band people behind him, so that's how that's happening. So it'll be good. I'll definitely grab onto it because I guarantee if he's doing it, it'll be interesting. He asked me if I would walk some of it with him, and I said I would meet him 5 miles out of Kansas City. I was like, that's the maximum amount of walking time I'll spend with you.
I mean, you know, there's a very good likelihood that he'll be staying at your house for like 6 months.
And take a little break.
Yeah.
Yep.
After, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody, posting your work now. If you're not posting, post it. Yeah, no, you're dead on, John. He's definitely he's gonna take a
But
he's gonna catch his
can
breath
you
here.
imagine? But can you imagine like I mean, we had episodes for those of you that weren't with us at that, weren't drawing with us at that time, where we had photo shoots that were being directed by
Chris.
John, Chris Payne, right? And like George was there, George Pratt. Like,
Yeah.
but it was like Chris is like, yeah, tell him, Timmy, let's move the light, just like, yeah, tell him to
Yeah.
let's put his arms up, how about
Yeah.
this, how about that? It was like amazing.
Yeah,
fun.
it was really fun. And then I remember like after a couple of them, Christopher was like, can you tell them to not talk to me like that when directing me? And I was like, okay, Mr. Ego. I was like, how about you just pose? How about you pose or you start paying quarantine rent? Like,
Right.
Well, and then there was like the flood.
yeah, there was a night where the basement flooded like
Oh,
30
the
minutes.
flood.
It
It
happened like
flooded
right before, right?
like 20 minutes before we started. We were walking around in water. It was a nightmare. The flood.
I remember.
Yeah.
Good memory.
That's a really good
Wow.
memory. I forgot about that. I
Yeah,
just remember
I don't remember
George,
that.
you guys were drawing and George FaceTimed me. George Pratt FaceTimed me. And I was showing things to him in my garage he could use for a costume for the next pose. And he was like, grab that and that. And you'll get a staff. And then you can make him like a little shepherd. You'll make him a little shepherd.
Oh, I remember the shepherd pose.
That's so George Pratt.
Yeah. Yeah. Some really great art tonight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna pull up the share pretty soon. Gonna give everybody a few more minutes though.
I think one of my favorites was the Tuskegee Airmen night.
Oh,
That's
that
a
was
good one. Get a good episode from Terry Brown on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to have Terry come back on for another
I
story
love
night.
Terry. Oh, and then don't forget What's My Gripe with Chris Payne.
Yeah, that's a dangerous game to play.
But the thing is, he had one where he like talked about
everything.
those flossers on the ground, and now
Yeah.
every time
Yeah.
I see them, I think of Chris Payne.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That was we came in a little hot at that, but
Well, he had a
I'm
good
proud of what we
gripe, and then
did.
I thought this is a good segment, and then it was like, you know, once you turn that faucet on, how do you turn it off?
Boom. Yeah. We had a different type of flood on the stream.
No, I love listening to a good gripe though. What's the gripe? Do you guys have any recs lately? Any recs? John, your rec is obviously the regime. It's a good one.
Does the dog die.com is mine.
That's mine for sure. Does the dog die.com. Does the dog.com.
Watch.
Because Cassandra's is LaCroix.
Oh
Our
yeah,
sponsor.
obviously LaCroix.
Cassandra, real quick, can you tell us what are you using any new materials tonight? What are you using?
Yeah, no, I just put paint on here, I think. Oh no, it's dry. So I did that a while ago. This is just GAC 100 on LaCroix. The only difference I had to do like the X and like a circle in GAC because it was
Okay.
curling a bit, but
How many times do you think you've said on this podcast tonight I'm using GAC 100?
I need a sponsorship. They just need to
You
send it to
should.
me, and obviously I will help you
Seriously.
sell it.
And then John, what materials are you using? Somebody just asked this, and I want to make sure they know.
I'm using oil paint.
Nice.
I did an acrylic underpaint, real quick wash, acrylic wash underpainting and painting back into it with oils right now.
It looks awesome, John.
Yeah, it looks so good, John.
Thanks for saying so.
I'm using Photoshop 2024.
Ooh, swanky.
Wow.
But I will say I did paint this in two. Actually, I wanted to say this before we stopped. I did paint this with two different types of techniques, though, just to show people. So this piece was created by doing an underpainting. It's a very traditional method of painting, where I did everything in grayscale
Wow.
and then added color and overpainted. So you could see, if I take the underpainting out, you could see
Oh, that's
how much
cool.
of it is overpainted, and it's really not that
Oh.
much.
Wow.
Very nice, Ray.
That's cool to see.
And
Something you
then
don't get to see when you actually paint it with a physical medium.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like this one is using the tiling method of painting. You could see where you just start off with big
Learn
tiles.
the rest of that, you can take our painting course.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Ray, stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Stop what you're doing right now. No, no, John, I'm glad you said that. Like what I think a thing that's important to say is that our classes are serious. Like, you know, we're joking around, we're hanging out tonight. This is fun. It's you know, semi-educational, but really it's just spitballing, talking about. I think we have interesting conversations about the arts and what we enjoy and how we stay inspired and whatnot. But our classes are that is really where the rubber meets the road. It is all about professional development, real skill building, really pairing you up with uh, people that have the answers, and then giving you all the tools and resources to ask the right questions and equip you with the right things. And so, if if you're stuck, if you feel in a slump, or you feel stuck, or you're trying to make art a reality for you as a profession, um,
Or you just want to be a lot better.
yeah, or you just want to be a lot better. Um, the fastest way to do that, and honestly, the most economical way to do that is go to the source, go to the people that are doing it. And so that's what we're all about. So classes start April 20th, but enrollment closes the 19th. We are closing in on that date fast, so don't sleep on it. You just go to visualartspassage.com and choose your path. I'm gonna start sharing some work though, because this stuff is looking awesome.
Can't wait.
Best part of the night.
Mhm.
I still want to get an edit of just a soundtrack of Cassandra responding to the work.
Yeah. Just like, and make it like,
Kills me every time.
he's gonna make it your daily affirmations. Good job.
Well, so many other people did things better than I did, and I get excited about it.
Attaboy, John. This is great stuff. Nice, AJ.
Oh, okay.
Nice,
See, look
AJ.
at that.
You can't not say.
Amazing.
Wow,
Amazing.
look at
I love the like vintage vibe it's got too.
Yep. Whoa.
Oh, Rebecca, that's
Wow.
lovely. Absolutely
Rebecca.
lovely.
that. Very nice drawing.
Oh,
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
That's
oh,
fun.
you got more flags than me in yours. Good job.
Oh, nice.
Really
Good
great
stuff.
Nice.
job.
Ooh, I
Wow,
Nice,
Addie.
Addie.
love it when Addie
Beautifully
shows up.
Beautiful,
done.
Addie.
Jeez.
Took some
Dang.
Timmy time.
Love it, Marcy. Always.
Marcy.
So
Awesome.
fun. And she got 4 flags too. Dang it, I only got 2.
Love that guy's pose.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautifully done. Oh,
Nice.
cool.
Good stuff.
Great job, Leslie.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh,
I
that's
love
fun.
that.
Oh,
That's
all
fun.
3.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Interesting. Yeah.
Great job.
Nice.
Really great job. Ooh,
That's so
lovely
good.
line work.
Yeah. There you go,
Fantastic.
Jeff.
It's fun.
Good stuff, Paul.
Great. Ooh, that's pretty.
There you go, Paul.
That's awesome.
There you go. Yeah.
Really
That's
nice.
fun.
Ooh,
Nice.
Wow.
beautiful. Very expressionistic,
Wow.
but well done.
Hey, got the
Good
tilt.
stuff. The tilt.
Nice,
Yeah.
Gary. Great job.
There you go.
Thanks,
There
Felicity.
you go.
Oh, that's awesome. I
Love the
love it.
hair.
Yeah, that's it.
Love the
Love
hair.
it. Love it.
We've already got agent rights for Felicity.
How does Felicity
Yeah,
keep
I
getting
know.
better?
Seriously.
How does
Great
Felicity?
drawing.
Felicity just keeps getting better, and we're just like, it's great. It just keeps getting better. Like we're not like coaching. We're just like, that is killer. That's great.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
Just shows up every week and does awesome.
You know what you did? Do it
Oh,
Whoa.
Nice.
that's fantastic.
That's amazing.
Really great job, John. Nice.
Nice.
Love
Love
it.
that pen work.
There you
Good
go.
expression,
Stuff.
Terry.
Tilt's not easy.
No, really nice. Speaking of awesome tilt,
Nice.
that has a Manet quality that I'm blown away
Yeah.
Oh, boy, that's really well done.
Yeah, it's really well done.
by. Ooh,
Nice.
great job, Joanna. Really nice.
Nice. My
Man,
God.
you all knocked it out of the park tonight. Wow.
Whoa.
Oh,
Solid.
love it.
Scroll fast. Scroll fast.
Ugh,
Oh, okay.
Gary,
It's an old game.
so good. So good, Gary.
That's a nice drawing.
Beautiful
Okay,
shapes of that.
there's a perfect example of designing with black and white.
Yeah, seriously.
And wow,
Yeah.
beautifully done.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
That's nice.
Wow. Lovely.
Nice.
Just lovely. Great job. That's
Amazing.
cool. Good job.
There you go.
So nice.
Delicate portrait.
That's fun.
Oh,
That's cool.
yeah.
That's really good too.
There you go.
Man, the amount of people painting too. Well done, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Great job. Good job. Great tilt.
Nice tilt.
Good eye contact too. Oh, that's fun.
Look at that.
That's so well done.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Love how you designed that out.
Just framed by 2 gritty looking men. Love it.
Oh, that's cool.
There you go, Terry.
Nice, Jerry.
Yeah.
Great job.
Nice.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
great.
I like your color choices.
Hold on,
Yeah.
stop on that for a second. You know how that looks like? That looks like Travis Kelsey.
It does.
It
That's
does.
not a knock on the piece. The
It-
piece Beautiful.
in Dune or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dune 3.
You were channeling Travis Kelsey.
Look at that.
Fantastic. Oh, that's
Cool.
cool.
Nice.
Oh, Jeff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Nice.
Ooh, I love that,
Yeah.
Karen.
There you go,
That's
Aaron.
awesome, Aaron.
Really nice.
Which, by the fun Aaron fact, Aaron took Brent Watkinson's color theory class,
Mhm.
right? And then made a tattoo inspired by the class, which is
Whoa.
the closest visual arts passages come to being a tattoo.
Aaron, that's awesome. I want to see the tattoo.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Great job. That's cool.
Yeah.
Good color.
I
Nice.
like it. Nice, Gary.
Really nice.
Look how Gary did that hand.
Yeah, those were hard
Didn't it-
hands.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh, good
Hashtag
likeness,
Tilt
Gary.
Hive.
Sorry,
at
that's
this,
a weird
man.
one. It's jumping.
That's great.
Oh, there it is.
There he is. There it is. I was looking for it.
I love that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it so fast. And look, he straight up just did a panel of the hands.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See? Ugh.
Good
Nice.
stuff.
Fun. Harry, you got a
Yeah.
lot done, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Terry.
wow.
Seriously.
Wow.
That's it for tonight. So much fun hanging out with you all. Remember, enrollment closes April 19th. Don't wait until the last minute. There are classes that are gonna fill up and be locked out. Always a treat drawing with you all. Thank you for sharing all your artwork.
Thank y'all. Have a great week.
And Cassandra, Timmy, thank you so much. Really fun night. Everybody that joined us, really some great work done tonight too. So
Well, Timmy, Cassandra, great night. Great joining with
Did
us.
you
Always a
leave?
pleasure.
Did you leave Ray out of that on purpose, John?
no, I said Ray.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Hey Ray, have we met before? Come on. Of course I did.
I love you guys. You're the best.
Hey, I was thinking Ray. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was not a good look.
Best
All right,
episode
guys.
ever.
Have a nice
You guys are the
Oh,
best.
This is the gem. Please
Love you,
immediately
Ray.
post to
Thanks,
YouTube.
man.
Take care.